Hello, and welcome to Full Tech Ahead. I'm your host, Amanda Razani, and I'm excited to be here today with Dev Devnani. He's the co-founder and CEO of VariaAI. How are you doing today?
Thanks, Amanda. I'm doing great and excited to chat more.
Can you share a little bit about yourself, your background, and about VariaAI?
Yeah, happy to. So I started off my career working at McKinsey, doing a lot of work across different industries and strategy. But the real turning point for Varia came when I moved to Oddity, which is one of the leading direct-to-consumer shopping e-commerce companies in the world. And what made Oddity really cool, which led me to build Varia AI, was it was really good at helping customers find the right product for them through their quizzes, whether it be foundation, whether it be the right supplements. And so at the same time that this was happening, ChatGPT came out. And if anyone's shopped with ChatGPT or used ChatGPT, it enables you to find the exact thing that you're looking for so quickly and shortly. And that meant that brands kind of had an opportunity to take the next jump of personalization by using AI, which is what Varia AI does. So Varia AI provides the infrastructure for brands to adopt AI-driven shopping on their own site. That consists of two things. The first piece is, providing your direct customers, your most loyal customers, an AI shopping mode that they can use to not go through the traditional browsing process and just kind of shop via chat or voice and find the right product for them. And the second piece is for customers that may not know about you, that are searching on Google, for you to show up in those results when they go into AI mode or go on ChatGPT and they're looking for your brand. How do you actually show up? So we do both of those things, and we're really excited to share more about that today.
Awesome. So customers get sort of their own personal shopping assistant.
Exactly. You nailed it.
And then also for the companies, they're able to get themselves out there front and center when people are shopping for certain things.
That's right. For customers, for companies, for shoppers like who may not know about your brand and are just browsing casually, Google was the default way that they were doing that. Now with the AI overviews and ChatGPT, a lot of customers are kind of telling ChatGPT that this is what I'm looking for, and ChatGPT is kind of doing that thinking process for them and finding the right product or experience for them. And that's a completely different way of shopping, and sites and companies need to kind of adapt to that new reality.
Right. Yeah. Shoppers are looking for more and more of that special experience and help because it's hard when especially when you're looking for specific things, especially say clothing or things like that, to be sure you're getting the right product and you don't want to have to send stuff back. So having some help from AI, like what are some industries that are using this?
Yeah. So I think the way we think about it is there's three main domains where this can be applicable. First is apparel and clothes. You brought that up. The second place is food and beverage, where the adoption has not been that great. And the second thing is like home goods, beauty, like consumer packaged goods that you're holding in your bathroom or your furniture, et cetera, and et cetera. So where we've really seen the uptake of this type of shopping experience is first in clothes. I'm sure everyone's tried on the Google virtual try on, where essentially you put an image of yourself, you can try out different outfits. So that's an example of what personalized shopping could look like. And what we at Vario AI focus on is really on that third group of beauty products, health products, products in which there is a lot of advice required before you make that decision. And the reason why there's a lot of companies that have invested some time into this. One company that comes to mind is Health, really, really good British supplements company, British company that sells health and wellness products that has that type of shopping experience. But when you take a step back and look at the ChatGPT queries, health-related products and advice is the only consumer-related products that are in the top five search queries. So of all the search queries in the world, four of the top five are B2B, like legal, finance, tech, things that people in their professional lives are using to answer questions. But the only one that's consumer related is health related products and advice. So it's actually the uptake amongst customers that are looking to buy health and wellness products has been quite high, both on ChatGPT and on existing brand sites.
That makes a lot of sense because I myself go to ChatGPT for so many things, and a lot of it is medical advice or questions about supplements. What are these supplements best for? Do they work, etc.
Totally, totally. I think that one thing that's really cool is that when you go to ChatGPT, whether it's me or you, you're not going there to buy a product. You're going there to solve a problem. And I think this is the key differentiator between what good brands are doing about this new thing and what a brand that doesn't really understand AI is doing about it. So when shoppers are going to ChatGPT, they're like, I'll give you an example. One of the brands we're working with has a vitamin B12 product, and vitamin B12 is used for tons of different reasons. When a shopper is finding that vitamin B12 off ChatGPT, it's not because they're asking for vitamin B12. They're asking something like, I'm having, my brain's a little foggy in the afternoons. What can I do to solve that problem? And then ChatGPT like recommends several supplements, not brands, just supplements like ingredients in general. And then the shopper asks, okay, which one's best or which one is backed by physicians? And then that's when those links start showing up, which refer to brand sites. And the brands which create that content for that specific unique problem are the ones that actually get recommended. And then the shoppers click through and actually end up on that site and then go, in many cases end up driving a conversion and buying that product of that brand. And so to really optimize for how you actually end up on ChatGPT or on these AI reviews is to solve a real problem. Show how your product solves a real problem for your customers. Don't just tell them about the product, which is how current blogs are set up to do.
That is so interesting, and I know that would be really helpful on both sides of things. So, do you help these companies figure out their angle and their strategy so that they can end up showing up on the Chat GPT or on the AI?
Yeah, yeah. So what we do actually is really cool. So we digest all of your content. So all of the blogs, all of your products, all the data around those products, we digest that in. And then so that's step one. Step two is we understand working with you, what are the personas that are buying your product? So in the case of that vitamin B12, there's a persona that is someone who is struggling with energy during the workday. There's someone who is a vegan and doesn't get meat. So they need the B12 to offset the meat. There's several personas there. So we understand those personas and we try to figure out what content will meet the needs of someone who is that persona. So that's steps one and two. Then the third piece is what are the queries from ChatGPT? Like what are the people asking for? And so taking all of that content that is specific for that persona and writing up blogs and content for those specific queries, that entire process we have productized into our product. So you upload your content, we create the personas with you, and then we build content specific to the queries that people are making on ChatGPT, all done with the help of AI and obviously done with the help of your experts and your product teams. That's kind of what our product does.
Okay, and can you share any stats that a company has seen, like the return on investment or an increase in sales from having implemented this AI tool?
Yeah, yeah, happy to. So I'm going to speak to both parts of our product. So the on-site AI shopping experience, in the sense when you provide an AI shopping mode, I can't refer to any of our company's brands, but in general, what you see is a 2x higher conversion compared to a normal search bar. So if your search bar generally has around a 3.6% conversion rate, 3.6% of your customers that are using that search bar are actually ending up buying that product. Around 7.5%, 7.5, 7.5% are actually buying that product when they're using the AI-driven mode. So it's almost a doubling in terms of purchase intent, which, if your average order value is around $40, your ROI is like 40, 50 times the amount of effort or engineering time you put in. Then on the showing up on ChatGPT AI reviews. This is an area where honestly consumer brands have not invested a lot of time thinking through this. Because it's just so new. I mean, 3 years ago we didn't have ChatGPT, That's kind of crazy. And shopping to ChatGPT has only really emerged in the last 6 to 9 months. So the case studies that I have for this are more so for non-consumer brands, but just I'm going to provide those in case. So companies that have done this are like SaaS companies. So companies like banks and software companies like that have invested in a strategy that I recommended, have seen almost a 23x increase in the number of referrals coming from ChatGPT. That's a lot. And the intent of these customers is also 8 or 9 times higher than a normal customer's intent. So the likelihood they actually buy from you is much higher because they trust ChatGPT for the results. So if ChatGPT says this vendor is the right person for you, then they're more likely to go with that vendor. But with that said, we're very early, both us as well as the space in general. So, the data will come out over the next, few months or so around what the conversion looks like. But it's certainly the double digits across both the on-site getting recommended in ChatGPT as well as providing an AI shopping experience on your existing site.
Yeah, absolutely. So, do you think that most companies are going to eventually start implementing AI into the shopping experience? Do you think it's going to be critical for them to stay ahead?
Mission critical, but this is a really good question because we have to think about like when we're shopping, when me and you are shopping, how do we shop and what is dependent on AI and what is dependent on our human judgment? Like, and this is something that I talk to a lot of customers about, like taste. Your taste, you want that to be in your choices. And will AI ever be good enough to take on that taste and kind of do it for you? Right now, I don't think so. In the future, potentially. So the way I think about what companies need to do it today versus what companies can kind of, think about this several years from now or 6 to 9 months from now, companies that sell products in which advice is critical and there's a clear benchmark for this is what you should need to do when this happens. I think for them, it's mission critical that they adopt AI right now because consumers are looking for that advice and they're buying a product based off that advice. So if you're a health company, a wellness company, a beauty company, a skincare company, like people are already using it, I would recommend you adopt it. And it's not just me saying this, go on Reddit and look up people put in all their allergies and all their things into this and they try to figure out the right thing for them. I think for luxury goods, so like buying a beautiful bag from Gucci or buying a beautiful purse or sunglasses, things like that, where there's not as much of a conversation and it's more about like, I want to feel that certain way. I think that AI isn't necessarily there yet to actually, you know, for a need for that piece. However, I will say that a lot of the AI models around imaging and videos are getting better and better by the day. And if a brand is able to create really, really good content that is personalized via images and videos for a given shopper, that would be really, really cool. So, for example, like I'm really into watches. And imagine if I were to, go on a watches site and I could see myself wearing that watch, like walking around the streets of New York, and feeling like a real great, great guy. That would be super cool. The technology is a little far away from that right now, but I don't anticipate it won't be there in the next year or so.
Yeah, absolutely. Imagine just being able to, uh, I guess, video yourself on the website and it takes your video and puts that watch on you and you see all angles of yourself with the watch.
Well, I mean, not only that. I mean, what's really cool is like, imagine if the influencer for that brand could talk to you directly. So, like, I love tennis, a huge tennis player. I love Roger Federer. Roger Federer is the ambassador for Rolex. Imagine if I could go on Rolex's site and instead of speaking to, a Rolex assistant, I would be speaking to Roger and saying, Roger, hey, this watch would look great when you're. It would be so cool. Like, it would be unreal, right? And that's where we're really going. I mean, that's why influencer marketing is killing it these days because influencers and being a content creator is like actually one of those jobs that AI will never replace, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. That personal experience. So, if there was any key takeaways you could give our audience today, what would that be?
I would say number one, I think all of you should go on ChatGPT and try to buy something for yourself. I think you need to experience it to realize how cool and unique the experience is. So that's number one. That's I told my mom that too. She's in her late 50s and she thought it was crazy. I would say the second big thing is that I would really look at how much traffic you're getting on your site. I would go to your head of performance marketing and ask them how much traffic you're getting from ChatGPT and from Google AI overviews and Perplexity and whatnot, and really like analyze what content that is. And number three, I would work with your e-commerce team and come up with a strategy to actually deal with this, whether that be contacting Varia AI or doing your own research. I leave that up to you. But I think those three things are mission critical for today, given how shopping is so changing over the next, 5 to 10 years.
Absolutely. That's such a new thing, seeing leads coming in from different AIs.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why it's so important. I mean, it grew at I think 1,300% the last 12 months. Crazy.
Wow. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your insights.
Of course. Thank you, Amanda.
And
Great to
thank you. Thank you. Thank you to our audience. I hope you found that interesting. Share your questions and comments, reach out, and stay tuned for more interesting podcasts coming up.